Thank the hockey player from Minnesota. And we've got another busy week. And really, if you look at the agenda this week, it's like a lot of the weeks you've seen over the last few months we've been in the majority. It's Republicans fighting for the hardworking families across this country who are struggling under the weight of all the crazy extremist regulations coming out of the Biden administration. From bad energy policies to a bad border policy that's led to devastation across our country, fentanyl deaths, millions of people coming into our country, to now what we're seeing from the Department of Energy and the CFSB, the idea that you would ban gas stoves. Does the Biden administration not have more serious problems to deal with than trying to tell families in America what kind of stove they should be cooking their food on? And yet that's what we're seeing from the Biden administration, literally a plan to ban gas stoves. And this is coming from an administration who just a few weeks ago said they weren't going to do it. A few months ago, actually. You know, at the beginning of the year, they said, don't worry, we're not going after gas stoves after they saw what happened in Elise Stefanik's state where they went after gas stoves. Biden administration said they weren't going to do it until they then went after it and did it. And families are looking at this saying, why are you going to continue going after these hardworking families? They're trying to tell you what kind of car you can drive by banning gasoline and diesel engines. Then they're going to try to tell you what kind of stove you can use in your house or what kind of oven you can buy. You saw this during COVID when they tried to tell parents, don't worry, you shouldn't be worrying about your kids' education and seeing what's going on in the classroom. Stay out of the classroom. We'll take care of that. And parents realized what was going on in the classroom and said, no, we are going to have a say in what's happening in our kids' classroom. We want to have a say in how we live our lives. We don't want government control. And you saw this over and over during COVID where people actually did have choices, where they could move out of states that were trying to control every aspect of their life, and they moved toward states that gave them freedom. Look at the states that lost population and the states that gained population during COVID. New York, California, Illinois, go down the line. All of those states lost hundreds of thousands of people. And states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, where they believed and embraced freedom, were the ones that were growing. And that trend continues. But in Washington, they haven't figured it out because they've got these extremist control freaks running some of these agencies that wake up every day coming up with these crazy ideas about how to change your life. And it's hurting hardworking families. It's not like these decisions don't have a cost. Just look at the stove example. A gas stove compared to an electric stove, a gas stove actually costs less money. And if the government's banning it, it's not going to affect the billionaire friends of Democrats. It's going to affect those lower and middle income families who are already struggling from the other devastating far left extremist ideas coming out of the Biden administration. Think about what's happening today. OPEC is getting ready to control and limit production of energy because they want a higher price of gasoline. Now, that's a pretty big news story today. And it's going to be something that has a real negative effect on families all across America who are already paying 50% higher in gasoline costs. But that would not even be a news story today if the Biden administration stopped attacking American energy. If we were able to produce all that we can here in America with the safest environmental standards of any energy producing country in the world, then OPEC's decision today would be irrelevant because it wouldn't affect oil prices because America could pick up the difference. America could produce more, and the price of oil and natural gas would actually be going down.
Good morning, friends. I have important news to share with you this Monday. New data shows that millions of Americans are still facing financial struggles due to inflation. But support is now growing for extra inflation relief checks for the American people. And state lawmakers have just approved bonus rebates that are worth as much as $300. My dearest friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video to hear about all of the details. Also, this coming Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, dear friends, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances, friends, of winning the giveaways. Alabama lawmakers gave final approval to a tax rebate for Alabama taxpayers, passing a bill that will provide $150 for individuals and $300 for couples who filed joint returns. The House of Representatives and Senate agreed on the bill that was a compromise between earlier versions. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey originally proposed a rebate of $400 for individuals and then $800 for couples during her State of the State address in March. The Senate changed that to $105 for individuals and $210 for couples. Then the House of Representatives passed a version to double that to $210 for individuals and $420 for couples. According to state officials, the rebates will go to taxpayers who filed a state income tax return for 2021 on or before October 17, 2022. The Alabama Department of Revenue will begin issuing the rebates on November 30th of this year. The rebate will be a direct deposit into the bank account that taxpayers included on their state income tax return last year. If the Department of Revenue does not have that banking information, it will mail a check for the rebate. Individuals who were claimed as dependents by another taxpayer for 2021 will not be eligible. The rebates will cost about $393 million. The money will come from a $2.8 billion surplus in the Education Trust Fund. Lawmakers are allocating the rest of the surplus in a separate bill. The Rhode Island House of Representatives also recently approved a $14 billion budget that legislative leaders say will help address the state's housing crisis, support business development, and make education funding more equitable. The House worked with Democratic Governor Dan McKay on the House's top priority, creating more affordable housing in the state of Rhode Island, at a time when housing is increasingly out of reach for millions of Americans. The House approved an additional $31 million to support housing development, including $4 million for transit-oriented development and $4.3 million to support infrastructure needed for housing development. The House plan also includes a low-income housing tax credit program. The program would provide a tax incentive for developers to expand subsidized housing options for low-income households. $45 million would also go to help individuals who are experiencing homelessness, and an increase in the earned income tax credit from the current 15% to the 16% of the federal credit. SNAP currently provides financial benefits to needy families to help them purchase nutritious food. The program is only available to households that fall below gross and net income limits. Qualifying households must also have assets below a certain level. The gross income limit is 130% of the poverty level, while the net income eligibility standard is the actual U.S. poverty level. Given the current economic development, demand for SNAP benefits seems likely to grow. With inflation and interest rates at multi-decade highs, at the same time, many economists are calling for a recession. Finances are tightening up for a large number of Americans. Now that most of the stimulus pumped into the economy during the heart of the crisis is gone, American households are depleting their savings. And even worse, debt levels are rising, and 46% of credit card holders are now carrying huge balances, while U.S. households are generally holding things together for now. If the economy tips into a recession, many of those on the edge may find themselves in the position of needing financial assistance from the government. And unfortunately, as many as 750,000 adults may be without SNAP benefits. This followed a bipartisan agreement that promoted an increase in the debt ceiling. The Fiscal Responsibility Act includes additional work requirements for adults ages 18 to 55 without dependents, unless the recipient has veteran status, is a homeless, or is under 24 years old and aging out of the foster care system. Beneficiaries must demonstrate participation in their work or job training for at least 20 hours per week. The House GOP majority maintains that the new rules would lift Americans out of poverty and that the consequential reforms will save taxpayer dollars, get Americans back to work, and grow the U.S. economy. My dearest friends, what are your thoughts on all of this? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Well, my beautiful and amazing dearest friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video. My friends, thank you so much for joining me here and for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I'll be announcing several winners this coming Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, my friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed week.